Welcome to our YouTube channel. I'm Bob.
And I'm John.
We're brother-in-laws. I married his sister and we're still friends. Go figure.
Can you believe it? Yep, for a lot of years now too.
We'd like to welcome you to our YouTube channel, Dad Advice for You. Here's what we're all about. Between us both, we have 7 children. 7. And over the years, we've given out lots of advice. Some of it good, sometimes some questionable advice, but most of it has been effective. And we thought it would be interesting and fun to share that with you, because we know that sometimes you need some advice on how to do things, and it's not always that easy to get it. So we are 2 regular guys who have just lived life together as our families have been together, and we're going to share that with you. So we hope you enjoy this journey that we're going to go on together. We hope you enjoy it. We hope you like it. We hope you share it and follow us for more. We're going to share a little bit right now with you about what the channel is all about and what you can expect from Dad Advice for You. Take it away, John.
Yeah, well, we talked about, like Bob, we have some life experiences, and being a dad, some of those life experiences are some very simple things, probably more do-it-yourself types of questions, but we've had a lot of questions from our kids along the way, and we're hoping that maybe we can share some of that wisdom with you. So some of that would be things like some of the topics we're going to talk about is maybe a home or apartment. Right. What kind of tools you would need to do some just simple maintenance, some simple projects. You know, what kind of screwdrivers, what kind of wrenches do you really need? What kinds of things do you need? We're going to talk about that, how to maybe do some of those projects, maybe even simple repairs. And that's probably a bigger one. Whether you're in an apartment or a home, there's going to be things that come up. Maybe you have a leaky faucet. Maybe you have a light switch that doesn't work, right. A plug that doesn't work. We're going to, a window that's sticking, things like that. We're going to try to go through some of those things, and some of those things you may already know about, and hopefully you'll get some wisdom from some of the ideas that we've come up with. Along that same line, we're going to talk about maybe yard maintenance. Now, everyone maybe doesn't have a yard right now, but someday you will. You might be just renting a house, and you've got to take care of the grass. You've got to, you've got trees that different hedges and things that you have to trim. We're going to go into a little bit in depth about that, the types of tools that you would use even in the yard. It might even be like maintaining a sprinkler system, things like putting in outdoor lights, things like that, maybe even doing some grilling, barbecuing. Right. So, and along that same lines, we know of our kids, they all have cars, and pretty much everyone have had trouble along the way, from maybe buying the car, what you should or shouldn't do when you're talking to a salesman, or if you're buying your car, maybe from a private party, even things of maintenance, changing the oil, the wipers, things like that. Just, maybe even maybe some insurance questions. I'm probably going to pass that off to Bob, but those are things that our kids have come to us and asked. I guess, well, some other things. My mind's gone blank for a second. But
well, we're going to talk about maybe when you're buying a car, how to negotiate with a dealer versus how to negotiate with a private party. So we're going to have all kinds of home maintenance tips, car tips, because we've experienced a lot. We bought a lot of cars between us both with our kids and etc. So we're going to also talk about work etiquette. John and I both worked in corporate America for years. We happen to own our own businesses now, but we understand there's some etiquette issues with corporate America, even small, medium, large-sized businesses.
That's a big one.
You need to understand. We're going to talk even about how to handle Zoom meetings. What's etiquette in a Zoom meeting? John learned just this week, you don't wear underwear at a Zoom meeting. You get caught. He got caught.
Why do you think we're shooting this from the waist up? How do you know I'm not wearing any pants now?
That's right. We're going to talk a little bit about fashion. Now, you can tell by both of us, we're not fashion icons, but we do know how to dress appropriately for different occasions. And we're going to talk about, for young men, is it appropriate to spend $1,200, $2,000 on a suit versus $500 on a suit? What is the difference? What kind of clothes should you wear to different family functions or community events? We're going to talk about things like dating. He has a daughter. I have 4 daughters. We helped our daughters through the dating experience a lot.
That could be a rough one too.
It could be a rough one. So we're going to give you some advice that we learned that helped us and helped our daughters. We're going to talk about Home finances, as John said earlier, insurance. We're going to talk about how to buy insurance. Do you use an independent agent? Do you go directly online? What are the advantages and disadvantages? We're going to talk about how to set a family budget, how to manage your taxes. What kind of information should you be saving during the year to prepare for taxes? Do you use a tax preparer versus doing it yourself? There's differences, and there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah, along that line too, we're going to try to get into some family dynamics as well. Holidays, how to survive the holidays without killing yourself. Now, we've actually gotten along very, very well. Our families, we've come to each other's homes for different holidays, and it's been wonderful. But we do know that there's some times, and whether it's a relative, it might be just going to a friend's house where it can be a little uncomfortable. You're not sure maybe how to act, maybe what you're supposed to bring. If you're hosting a party, what should you plan on and how do you invite the guests? Some different things along that line. And with that, eating out. I know that a lot of you eat out at different restaurants, a lot of fast food restaurants, a lot of different kinds of restaurants. We're going to touch a little bit on that, maybe tipping, do's and don'ts with your waiter,
right.
Different things, how to order maybe specific dishes, some things like that. And then along that line too, we want to talk about travel. And I know there's a lot of different ways to travel. We've done quite a few different ones, but I think one that I want to touch on is traveling via airplane. Obviously, our kids, that's a big one. Our kids all travel, and we found that from time to time, there's things that come up. Maybe your flight's canceled. Maybe something happens at the airport where there's a weather delays and trying to get a hotel and different things like that at while you're traveling. Some do's and don'ts, maybe some things, some tips on what you should really have with you. Yeah. So we're gonna some of the things like that. I think that'll be helpful.
Right. We're gonna talk a little bit about spirits and cigars.
That'll
we
be
both
fun.
enjoy that. That's going to be a fun episode. We're going to talk about, do you spend a lot of money on a bottle of spirits, or do you spend a reasonable amount? We might even talk a little bit about what kind of brands of cigars we like. And we're going to talk about maybe even mix some drinks for you. We have our own way of mixing some drinks. We're going to share that with you.
I'm hoping that we can also maybe talk about a little about the beer.
And
I love beer.
He's the beer guy. Yeah, we'll
might
talk
have to
about
touch
beer.
on that a little bit.
Absolutely. We're going to talk also about etiquette. What's some etiquette tips for young men? What do you do when you meet your date's father and mother for the first time? How to greet somebody for the first time. And so we're going to talk a little bit about etiquette.
That'll be a very interesting episode too.
And then lastly, not only do you get dad advice for you, but we're going to give you some dad wisdom. After every episode, we're going to give you 2 or 3 pieces of wisdom that we've learned. Some through hard, some that we've just learned along the way. But these are wisdom points that we hope you can take along, ponder on these, and maybe start to live by them. These are dad wisdom, for example. Don't pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. To handle yourself, use your strength. To handle others, use your heart. Character is more important than reputation. And finally, seek opportunity, not security. We hope that you've enjoyed this episode. We look forward to you following us on our channel in months and weeks to come. And we hope that if you have any feedback, we'd love to hear your comments in the comments section. We hope that you would follow us and send this to your friends. And we hope that it'll be a journey that we can do together. This is Dad Advice for you. Take care. Good night.
Good night.